Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, this morning I'm thankful that you gave us all the opportunity to gather here together and spend this time together in community. And we are so grateful that we get to celebrate our first responders and everything they do to keep us safe and allow us to live the lives that we live in this awesome neighborhood. Just allow us to lift them up and celebrate them and bless this time and bless this food that we, in your name we pray. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, a couple of quick announcements before we get started here. Mr. Wickham, you want to start?
I will. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is scholarship season, and so we are putting together a scholarship committee. We already have a good group started, so we are anxious to get a couple of more of you involved. The main activity that's coming up is our interviews at the high school. So that's going to be the 28th and 29th this month, Tuesday and Wednesday. It's a full day commitment, but this is really a great part of kind of where the rubber hits the road for our club. We get to interview our scholarship recipients. So if you're interested, if you have the opportunity to participate, please come see me or email me scholarships at our club email address, or just come see me, and definitely get you. There's also opportunities to help plan for the scholarship breakfast, which is not just today, but the interview process is probably give that some thought and let me know.
Thanks, sir. Any guests, member guests here outside of our honored guests here this morning? Yes, sir.
I have two guests here. Jeff Gibson, he's my neighbor. He's been in the neighborhood for about, 7 years, I guess? So, yeah. And then Elsie Soto. I'm going to talk about Elsie for just a minute because she lives in our neighborhood. She's off of Stillman. She was instrumental at one point when the utility company cut down a lot of the trees. She did a petition to get trees replanted, and I think there's a lot of responsibilities over by Arbor Park for some of the grant and stuff that went in. She's also helped the Dallas Arboretum translate some things into Spanish for the volunteer board. So very glad to have her here as my guest as well. Thank you.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Morning, guys. I brought Philip Wagner with me. I'm not sure if he's planting trees or done. But Philip's just a great guy. We went to A&M together in White Valley, so it's wonderful.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and invite Mr. Huddleston up here to do his own announcement and then get us started with our program.
Good morning.
Morning.
So for the announcement for the community grant program, it was scheduled to expire today, but we are extending the application period until March 24th. So please work with any community organizations, clubs, good causes. If they have a project, capital need, anything that would be a good fit, please have them apply. So that's been extended until March 24th. That application is available on the website. So now to our main program. It is my privilege to present the quarterly award to our fire department and police officer today. So at this time, I would like to introduce or ask to come up Sergeant Watson and Officer M. And also Lieutenant Sutton, and make sure I get this correct, Driver Engineer Hayes.
All right.
Thank you. You want to take a seat, please? So, Lieutenant Sutton, would you please introduce Tudor?
Driver engineer Tudor Hayes. When I asked him what they call him Tudor, he said, I don't know, they call me that since I was a kid. So everyone calls him Tudor, or Toot, whatever you want to call him. Man, he's an awesome guy. I've had the privilege of having him as my driver on Engine 48 for about a month now. I just recently promoted, and as you know, with any recent promotion, especially as having as little time on as I do, it's very nerve-wracking, very daunting. And when I came over there, man, the great crew at 48, Tudor and David and Ray, he's not here today, have just welcomed me with open arms and shown me a lot of things about what a new officer needs to know and just taking care of me. But Tudor's been on the department for about 20 years, 14 of which he served as a driver. He started out in Pleasant Grove area, and I actually called my dad and a few of the people for stories on Tudor for this. And he said, you let them know that within the first month, he had fought so much fire that he had to turn his gear in and get new ones. And at one point, he was so focused on fighting the fire that he came out and he had burning shingles on his helmet. Didn't even realize his head was on fire until someone said, hey, your head's on fire. So, another story is Tudor had rescued a dog from an engine compartment, and he actually ended up on the news a few years back for rescuing a dog. And he fell in love with the dog immediately and was asking the animal services man, what's going to happen to that dog? And was so worried about her that he ended up adopting her, and they did a news story about him. And Gracie, well, she's kind of taken to his wife more now. I think she forgot who rescued her. Man, just an awesome dude, great driver. Always takes care of the apparatus to make sure we can better serve this community. The other day it was raining and we were out washing the engine because he does not want to operate on a dirty, grimy engine. He knows that we got to make sure everything's ready to go for the day, make sure everything's checked out in its place. So y'all are very blessed to have him in the community as someone that can get us water if we need to or get us to the scene safely. So congratulations, Tudor. You're very deserving of this award.
Sergeant Watson.
I'm not sure I can follow that. I'll try. I've only known Noah for about 7 months now. He's originally from Southern California. He got his degree there and then came to Dallas because he wanted to serve and help protect. He's been here for 5 years now. He's spent all this time here at Northeast. Last couple years, he's been in our CRT deployment area, which is where the hard chargers that go out in the real crime fighters at night and things like that. Does an excellent job in that. It's kind of hard to slow him down at times. I got the privilege of getting to know him about 6 or 7 months ago. Like I said, he came to work with me in the investigative unit for property crimes. He needed a little change of pace for a while. And so he's an extremely hard worker. He will fight down any lead, follow it to the T. We were trying to keep him inside for a while, just because he needed that. So every once in a while he would go outside to go grab evidence or something like that, like a video or something, and we come to find out a couple hours later that he's had a call record, he's been in a chase, he's been on the ground, he's done all this other kind of stuff, and he's supposed to be low-key for a while. Apparently he didn't get that memo. So he's been here, like I said, 5 years. He's an amazing guy. I could give you this as a dating profile. He likes long walks on the beach. Sometimes he takes his lovely wife with him. But yeah, it's been a blessing to have Noah in the unit. He has brought life back into the unit where he's, invigorated the unit again and given them a sense of pride. So I'm happy to have Noah.
So to clarify on the dating profile, Officer Him, will you please introduce your wife?
Over there in the gray is my beautiful wife, Emily. We've been married for a little over a year now.
Thank you. Okay. So, Officer Him, can you give us a quick background on who inspired you to join the force?
Yeah, there was a couple people in my life that kind of brought me to this one of which was my uncle, who was a retired captain with Orange County Sheriff's Department in California. Just hearing all the stories and all he did inspired me, and then I also had a close family friend, and he's currently working with Gang Task Force in California, and just seeing him and the sacrifice he made with his family, but go out there and serve his community was inspiring for me and kind of brought me to this point.
So, Tudor, I want to ask you the same question, but before we do, can you give us background on where Tudor came from?
Well, I'm a junior, James Russell Hayes Jr., and my grandmother, she just started calling me Tudor like the day I was born, and it stuck, and people that I grew up with, I've just been known as that for everywhere. My chief and everybody called me on the department Tudor. Several people that I grew up with that are firemen from where I'm from, Kaufman, it's just Tudor. And if somebody calls and asks for James, they don't know me.
It is natural, just go with Tudor, it's so easy. So, who inspired you, please?
Well, it's like, my dad, growing up, my parents divorced when I was young, but my dad, he was a garden fireman, but he didn't really raise me. I never really saw my dad, but I knew that he was a fireman. And it's like, man, and I would see that show Emergency on TV, and man, I just wanted to be a fireman. I knew in third grade, I wrote a paper to do I want to work for Dallas, do things, help people, save lives, do cool stuff. But man, I just wanted to be since I was a kid. And things hadn't always been all good and gravy, and like I got in some trouble. It cost me 10 years getting on with Dallas. Finally, I got through that, and they hired me, and it's all been good. The good Lord has blessed me, buddy. You can't believe it.
So, Officer Him, are there any nicknames we need to know about?
None really that I can think of.
Sergeant Watson, are there any nicknames we need to know about?
Not that we can share.
I noticed you didn't ask the wife.
Okay, so Officer Him, when we first spoke, trying to coordinate, you had just finished some qualifications with your M4 rifle, which that sounds pretty fun on its own. In general, like, what is one of the most interesting, the cool tool, weapon, piece of equipment that you've trained with while in service?
That's a tough one. I mean, probably one of the most, I guess, the one that always leaves everyone with stories is either our OC spray or taser, because everyone always remembers in the academy getting tased or sprayed, and just. But yeah, I'd probably say the taser.
Okay. So, Tudor, is there a favorite piece of equipment or something that you've driven, or what's the most exciting piece of equipment you've worked with?
Man, my engine over here at 48, it's a Cadillac. Man, it's smooth, it runs good. It's just nice. It's very nice. Yeah, it's all, everything's pretty fun too. Get to drive fast and honk your horn.
Okay. So, Tudor, what is the, out of 20 years, what is the most memorable, moving day or moment from your 20 years?
Shoot,
That
good
you,
or bad.
that you feel that you can share?
Well, there's just a lot of bad stuff, but there's lots of good stuff too. But when we had the fire we lost Dan Wilson, that was a tough day. So up on that, I hired back and worked the next shift, and that was a bad day for the whole department. But everybody sticks together, and you still got work to do. But there's a lot of good that overcomes all that. But other than that, it's just a fun job.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Officer Ham, do you have a moment that sticks with you?
I'd agree with that. There's a lot of different, I guess, calls and whatever else we respond to that kind of stick with you. I guess probably the day that Officer Mitchell Penton died. That's one that kind of stick with you, even that it's just the anniversary of that one.
So what would be maybe your most rewarding day?
I don't know, that's a tough one as well. I'd probably say the day that you graduate and are actually out on the street off of field training and you're in the car by yourself and get to go serve the community and do what you signed up for.
So is there a most rewarding day?
Well, it's like the little things seem to really hit, like when you have a new mom has her first child and she's in a hurry one morning, she locks her kid in the car and the keys are in there and those moms are really freaking out, and we get there, try to calm down, and we got some guys that can break in anything.
Legally.
Broke into, you can get in. Man, when you pop that lock and get that kid out and hand it to the mom, yeah, it's cool. Everything's gonna be okay.
Awesome. Okay, so how is the cooking at the firehouse?
Shooting, she's here, yeah, she's a good cook. Yeah, but we have everything from burnt stuff to really but she's good. That's a really
Wait,
good
are you
cook.
saying I'm the one that served the first stuff?
Before, yeah, we eat stuff all over the place, but
Okay,
she's good.
what's the best dish?
She made she makes let's see, she makes a good meatloaf. Meatloaf's very good. Mashed potatoes, meatloaf, and beans, you cannot beat that. What else? Her cilantro chicken was lasagna.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot. It makes good dark stout coffee.
Yes. Some of the other boys complain about it, but it's okay.
Gotcha, thank you. Officer Ham, so we're doing a Mythbusters question here, and I think I know the answer because you're a good Southern California boy, but, so donuts or breakfast tacos?
That's a tough one, but what I learned most back there at the investigative unit was breakfast taco Fridays with Mr. Detective Mraz back there, so probably breakfast tacos.
Okay. And so is that in-house, or where's your favorite place?
Well, it depends on what places are open, but
Okay.
Usually the 7-Eleven right there won't do just
So, let me take a moment. Is there any questions from our audience? Yeah, Tracy.
Of your coworkers in the audience, who would you give a shout out to and why? For both of you.
Well, the only coworker we have here today is David. Ray's off, so he couldn't be here today, but that's the other member of our crew. We don't have a rescue or ambulance, so it's just us four assigned every day. So, but man, David's awesome too. He works on the bridge, which is the homeless shelter downtown, on his days off, and really does a lot for the community. So.
I want to give the police the two.
Oh. Well, since my entire unit's here, I can't single any one of them. Because they all serve a special and certain need in the unit, so I love them all. Good answer. Okay.
So, any other questions?
What is something that, as individual community members, we could do to help you in your jobs?
If our engine's coming up behind you, could pull to the right.
Same with the squad car.
Just don't stop in the middle of the road, 'cause then just.
I have a correlated question. How far are we allowed to trail behind a fire department so we can cut through traffic?
I've actually had that happen to me before. I was on the
Oh,
back
that was
of,
me.
I was on the back of a tiller truck, driving the tiller truck, and I looked behind me and there's this little red sports car, and I was like, dang. And he was not scared. He was like, I gotta get somewhere.
sign says 500 feet back there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it says 343.
Okay, anybody else? All right, so quick, two last follow-up questions. Speaking of squad cars, if you could pick out your own custom squad car, what kind of vehicle would it be?
Probably a pickup truck of some sort, because I'll get over the curbs and around the sidewalks and anything like that in the way.
Okay, and so, oh,
Shoot, just thinking about what my grandson won't land, something like a transformer deal.
so, when you've been in a hot pursuit emergency to get to the fire, get to the situation, those fire engines are pretty big. Have you ever accidentally maybe clipped the vehicle on the
I didn't
way?
say anything. I am not gonna rat you out like that.
Well, just the other day.
Don't look at me. I didn't say anything. I swear.
We were getting groceries and everything was all good, man. I was all stoked because I got Dave some Rocky Road ice cream. Man. We got Rocky Road, Dave, for you. And got in the engine and there happened to be a parked Corvette. I didn't see it. Man, I was trying to zigzag through the parking lot, just coming out, and then I looked over and said, "Man, Dave, let's see how close I am to that Corvette." He goes, "Oh man, you get that." Right.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for asking.
Sorry, I didn't know that was coming out.
I didn't tell on you, so don't even.
We're good. So, thank you for being honest and taking our questions and being here this morning, and thank you for your teams being here and supporting you and joining us this morning. So, at this point, we present the plaques to each of y'all. So, thank you again. So, and afterwards, we'll take a few pictures, so please stick around. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
All right, thank you very much. All right, let's give one more round of applause. Thank you, Mr. Huddleston, for the presentation this morning. Shout out to Nate for the logistics. Tonight, 8:30 p.m., San Antonio, Texas. Our Lake Highlands Wildcats.
That's right.
I know myself, Mr. Holmes, Mr. Wan, maybe a couple others in the room, McCutcheon tomorrow. A few of us will be down there. We may try to get something together, or find a spot to grab a bite or a drink or something like that before the game. So if you're around, feel free to give a shout if you want to come try to find us and hook up. But either way, go Cats. Should be an exciting, fun weekend. And with that, we'll adjourn here.